welcome back to my channel. My name is Jodie and I help you change your beliefs so you can change your body, your health, and your life. This video, I want to talk about some of the things I'm doing this time in Bali to avoid weight gain. Now, I am in a build at the moment, so it is expected that my weight should be going up, but what I am trying to achieve in that build is to add muscle without excess body fat. And of course, during a build, you are going to gain some body fat. You pretty much can't help that unless you are a complete beginner, but I am not. So the goal is to build muscle, gain weight, and limit the amount of body fat I put on. And last year when I was in Bali, I was also in a build. I was expecting to gain weight, but I did end up gaining more body fat than what I would have liked. And the reason for this is I let go of all structure. Now, when you go away, whether that's because you're on holidays or you're just in a different environment to usual, it is a lot harder to maintain some kind of structure with the meals that you eat each day. And you want to have some flexibility, right? Because that can be fun, especially if you are always on track, you're always consistent. If you're in a build as well, you have extra calories to play with, you can be more flexible. However, if you take this to an extreme and you don't have any structure whatsoever, that is when you're very likely to gain excess body fat, whether you're in a build or you're just trying to maintain while you're away. If you do go away, I do not recommend trying to lose weight during this time. The goal should always be to maintain weight, unless you have some kind of deadline like a wedding or a photo shoot, or you're getting on stage for a competition. That's when you need to stay on track no matter what. Anyway, so that is the biggest difference this trip compared to when I was here last year. I am creating more structure in my day and sticking to that. Now, the type of structure that you use is very much going to depend on your goal and your calorie requirements. My calorie needs are quite high at the moment. I am still training really intensely while I'm here as well, so that does help. However, I'm still sticking to some rough rules now, and I always say this to clients as well. If you're only away for 1 to 2 weeks, then it is okay to let yourself have some days where there are no rules, you have no structure, you are completely flexible. 1 to 2 days per week of doing this isn't really going to make a massive difference. But if you're doing this every day consistently, that is when it will make a difference and you're likely to gain excess body fat. So here is the rough structure I'm following. Number 1, alcohol. Now, I don't usually drink excessively. However, last year I was in Bali. I did have some nights where I was out partying, probably too many, and I did have too many drinks on those nights. If you want to avoid gaining extra weight when you're away, that is the first thing you need to kind of have some structure around is alcohol, because it is so easy to overconsume and it is literally just empty calories at the end of the day. There are so many calories in a cocktail, it's not funny. And it's just so easy to drink. That is my first rule at the moment. I am allowed 1 drink a day, and if I have that drink, that kind of counts as a carb. Not actually a carb, but it's easy to think of it as a carb, because if I'm having this drink, and at the moment it is a cocktail, so it is calorie dense, I am then limiting the carbs that I have in my lunch meal. And that kind of balances everything out and makes up for the calories from the alcohol that I'll be consuming usually early afternoon. I have this little routine at the moment. I like to go down to the hotel bar, get a drink, do some journaling, and it really helps me get in the zone and helps me think. Now, this 1 drink a day rule also applies to any calorie dense drink. Last year, I was having a lot of milky coffees as well. So this year I am limiting those, and I'm really just sticking to black coffee and water for the other drinks that I'm having. Again, it's just extra calories that I don't really need, and that's going to allow me to have more calories to put towards my other meals. And then the other weakness of mine, which is dessert. So that is my second kind of rule, or the structure I'm creating, is I'm allowed 1 dessert a day. Last year, I was having croissants for breakfast, or this banana cake they have here, and then I'd be having brownies for dessert. I love the brownies from this cookie shop here. And so this year I'm allowed 1 treat a day. So if I have a croissant for breakfast, I can't have my brownie for dessert. And if I do decide to have a bigger dessert like a brownie or a cake or something like that, I eat dessert every day when I'm at home, but it's usually just some kind of chocolate, and it has far less calories than what a brownie or a slice of cake would have. On the days I choose to have a calorie dense dessert, I usually make sure the carbs in my dinner are slightly less than what I'd normally eat, just to bank up those calories to make room for that dessert. Now, the next thing I'm doing differently is with my breakfast. I am making sure I'm eating a big proper breakfast every day, which is something I didn't really do last year. And then as a result, I was getting hungrier faster, and I was snacking more and consuming calorie dense lunches or more calorie dense drinks to try and tie me over to my next proper meal. Now, because I'm eating a big proper breakfast, I don't actually get as hungry as soon, and I find I don't even need a big lunch. I can have a more protein and vegetable heavy lunch. That is helping me stick to the last kind of rule that I'm using, and that is a simple rule. I recommend it for most of you, is to stick to 2 big meals a day and 1 treat per day. Now, because my calories are quite high at the moment, I am also having another small meal in addition to those 2 bigger meals. So it kind of looks like a big breakfast, a lower calorie lunch that is protein and vegetable heavy, and then a big dinner and my dessert as my treat. Actually, on that note, because my calories are high again, I'm actually having 2 treats technically, which is the dessert and the drink. If your calories are lower, then I would recommend choosing just one. Maybe that means one day you have dessert, the next day you have a drink, that kind of thing. Now, the final thing that is not food related is I am making sure I'm getting a lot more steps this time. Last time where I was staying, it was not very walkable and a lot harder to get those steps in. This time I'm staying in a different area that is very walkable, so I am not really letting myself use the scooters here or ordering a scooter. I am making myself walk everywhere, and so my steps at the moment are averaging around 13,000 a day by the time I walk to the cafe, I walk to gym, I walk to the beach, all of that. When it comes to avoiding extra fat gain when you're away, the more steps you can do, the better. That is all for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please like it. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe. If you have any questions, please send me an email. I put that in the description box, and I will see you in the next